Welcome to the Adaptive Switch Labs video series. This video is going to show you how to set your switch functions using the Atom head array and the Tekla Shield for Bluetooth access to your iPad or iPhone. You're going to need to have your iPad or iPhone available. And first, we need to make sure that your Tekla is paired to the iPad or phone through the standard Bluetooth pairing process. So next, I want you to start from your iPad, open your settings. You can see that my Tekla Shield is paired already, it says connected. We're going to go into General Settings, and then we're going to go to Accessibility. We're going to scroll to the bottom of the Accessibility, and you'll see Accessibility Shortcut. I want you to touch Switch Control and put a little check mark beside it. This will allow us to triple click the Home button to turn on Switch Control and then to turn it off again. It comes in really handy as you're setting things up for your client, and it doesn't do any harm to leave it on, so I usually just leave mine on. All right, we're going to go out of Accessibility, scroll up a little bit until you come to Switch Control. Now there are a few things we need to set before we actually program the switches, so you're going to have to go into a couple things here and turn some things on and turn some other things off. So let's start with the scanning style. Right now the default is auto scan. We want to set it to manual scanning. Manual scanning is the same as step scanning, and it means you're using a minimum of 2 switches. Out of manual scanning, we're going to go down to long press, and I want you to turn that on. Just leave it for 1 second at the moment. All right, scroll up a little bit. You come to tap behavior. Set it to auto tap if it's not already. All right, out of switch control into always tap keyboard keys and just touch that slider and turn it to green so that it turns on. Okay, scroll down a little bit. You come to the audio section. It has 2 things in here. It has sound effects, which is a beep as the scanning moves across all your apps. So you'll hear a kind of a beep, 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 on and on and on. That's a preference. Some people like it on, some people don't. It gives them a little bit of auditory feedback as they're touching their switch and moving through the choices. A lot of people find it kind of annoying because it's just a lot of beeping. But speech, on the other hand, actually says the names of the apps as it's moving through the screen. Very helpful for people with low vision, people just learning it. I use it with kids just learning, people who are completely unfamiliar with the iPad or iPhone interface. Speech is really advantageous. You can always go in and turn it off when you're done and they don't need it anymore, but I usually start with it on just to give a little bit of extra auditory support. All right, we're going to go into menu items, and menu items, we're going to have to turn some things off. So let's start with top level. And you can go in there, and at the top, you'll see everything's checkmarked. We're going to hide all items. And then you're going to turn on home and recipes. We're not going to use recipes in this video, but you may in the future. So I'm going to have you turn it on just so that it's available. Okay, so go out, go into gestures, hide all items. Out into device, and hide all those items. And last, go into settings and hide all those items. Okay? We're going to come to group items, and I want you to hit that little slider and turn that on. Group items will allow you to scan an entire row rather than one by one, so it's a more efficient and faster way to actually do the scanning. Turn your large cursor on, and then go ahead and go into cursor color. And you can pick whatever color you want. Mine's set to green. I'll put it on blue just to see what that looks like, but you can pick whatever color your preference is or your client's preference. All right, switch control out of there. Now we're ready to set our switch functions. So I want you to scroll up to the top till you see switches. And we're going to touch switches. And we're going to begin to use our head array now and start adding switches. So the first thing you need to do is make sure that you have set your Atom head array into wireless mode. So I want you to long press on that user mode switch till you hear the long beep and your head array is in wireless mode. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to add a switch. It's an external switch. You're going to touch your right pad. Just tap on your right pad and name it right. I always name my switches just so that I can look back and know which one's doing what function. Hit save. And now it gives you some choices of what you want that switch to do. And in this case, let's have that switch move to the next item. All right, now you see you have your default setting, which is move to the next item, and then you have another area called long press. And that's that long hold that we set earlier, and we turned long press on. When you hold on that right pad for a second, it can perform a different action. So we're going to go into long press, and we're going to give, so now that single switch, the right switch, has two different functions. A momentary tap will move it to the next item. By long hold for about a second, it'll take me to home. All right, let's go out of switches, and now we're going to add another switch. It's external. Momentary, just tap your left pad, name it left. Give that left switch the function select. All right, and then we're going to go into long press, and we're going to give that the function of scanner menu. Probably not going to use scanner menu right now, but in the future it's going to come in handy, so I'm going to have you set it up now so that it works that way. All right, now we have not set the back pad. If you have a client that can be in the head array and not need to rest against the back pad to access the right and left pads, then you can look at assigning switch functions to that pad. In my experience, it's been challenging for people to be able to sort of hover within the head array and not hit any switches until they choose to. But if they can, feel free to program functions under that back pad. Most people lean on the back pad and roll from side to side to get to the left. So, but that's completely, your judgment for your client and whether or not they can actually access all three switches. So at this point, you have two switches with four functions. I can move through my screen and select an app. When I'm done with my app, I can long press on that right switch and get back to the home screen. The scanner menu will play a part when you learn how to utilize recipes, and that'll be at a different video. All right, so we're going to go out here and test this. I'm going to press my home button and take me to my home screen. I'm ready to use that head array. All right, so I'm going to triple click the home button. 1, 2, 3. There's my blue highlight. Remember, I set that cursor as blue. There it is. It's highlighting the row because we set it to be group. All right, and so now as I tap my right pad, it will take me through the rows. Okay, if I go past a row that I wanted, I just keep going until I come around to the next one, right? Let's try to go into the camera. So I'm going to go into this row. I'm going to select that row by touching the left pad. And then I'm going to move forward with my right pad as I move over to the camera. I'm going to select the left. And you see it launched the camera. Now let's try to take a picture. Who doesn't love pictures of puppies? Let's scan. There's the group that I want. It's got the take photo button. It's on HDR right now. We're going to scroll down now using the right pad until I get to take photo. Left pad to select. And you just took a picture of my wall. All right, now if we're all finished, you can long press on that home, right, which is the right pad. We're going to hold on that right pad and takes you back to home. And we're ready to open some other app. All right. That's how you navigate around using your switches on your iPad, using your Atom head array from Adaptive Switch Labs. Good luck and enjoy scanning on your iPad.